Hi, I'm Ali Patterson. On this episode of Finance Director TV, we look at globalization, where we head out to Zurich to look at the greater Zurich area as a region. While there, we also speak with Swisscom to see some of the issues facing finance directors. We also continue to look at executive education, this time in Frankfurt, where we speak with Frankfurt School and two of their clients, NTT Data and Norma Group. So I've come to speak to Sonja Wolthoff-Wold about the Greater Zurich area.
City of Zurich has ranked within the last, 10 years as number 1 or number 2 in the Mercer report regarding quality of life. This is true for all of the Greater Zurich area, but also for all of Switzerland. I think quality of life, an outstanding quality of life, is true for all of Switzerland. You see the river here. I mean, you can go in, swim here, and you could even drink the water. This is one of the aspects. But another aspect is the safety, security of the people. You can send your children to school by public transport. You don't have to have a school bus. It's the clean air. It's also the public transportation system, research facilities. It's the attractive taxation. It's everything. And I think the wonderful countryside and the recreational areas mixed with this high level of culture and things going on, the shopping areas, the new parts of the city compared with the older towns, but also the countryside, I think this makes this mix, which is very attractive to Swiss people, but also to foreigners, to tourists and to expats.
How does the taxation within the Greater Zurich area compare to other cantons?
Within the Greater Zurich area, we have a very attractive tax system for individuals, but also for companies.
Everywhere in Zurich, there was this feeling of this culture of innovation. I went to speak to Uli Ditka from Swisscom to speak about the culture of innovation within this organisation. In terms of this sort of human focus group that you have, how do you really drive, and how important is this culture of innovation within Swisscom? I mean, does it stem from the bottom all the way up to the top?
Oh, I think innovation is always important. I think when you look at the two ways, first the price pressure.
Yeah.
You need to find new resources, and that's clear. Here we have this human-centric design group. Of course, the line management is looking for new products. We have also a Swisscom venture, also a corporate venture team. They are screening for new startups which are leading in the industry or in our industry, and we make small participations in it. We look how their products works in our environment, and we try to give them a chance to be Swisscom is a customer of them. I think innovation is for everybody important, but it's also a process. You have to implement it, and we have two sides of innovation. First, the product side, and on the other hand, of course, also the delivery or cost side. And here, of course, it's when I look at the actual situation of the telecom industry, we have the investment in fiber.
Yeah.
Of course, with this ultra broadband, then you have also the ability for new products. That's one thing. Then on the other hand, you have the price pressure. That means also cost pressure. That means you need also to find innovative ways to design your processes and to take out cost.
How do you ensure that your network is effectively future-proofed? Because it was only 30 years ago copper wire was being laid down, and now that's being replaced with fibre optic. In 10 years, there may be something faster than fibre optic. So how do we sort of ensure that level of flexibility to be prepared for the future?
Well, I hope, of course, that fibre have a future of not only 10, 20 years. I think in minimum it should have a useful lifetime of 30 years. That also where our depreciation period is. But of course there is also innovation that improves always the capacity of the existing infrastructure. Where you look at, for example, at old copper, you have this VDSL, you bring fiber closer to the home, and then have a street cabinet, and so I think it's not always one way to go to the future. Is always an optimization of different network types.
Yeah.
So I think in Swisscom we have fiber to the home, we have fiber to the street, but we have always fiber to the local exchange, of course. And of course in Switzerland it's a special situation because we are a cable TV country. I think cable TV started 40 years ago in Switzerland, and they have with their coax network they have a good capacity, and we have to cope with that. That was the reason why we have so heavy investment in fiber. Of course, I think when you look at the overall situation in Switzerland, Switzerland is a very small country with 8 million people living here. But when you look at the ranking of innovation, we are one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at the country, then of course innovation is also driven by the universities like ETH or EPFL in Lausanne. I think they are very good, and around these universities you have really young people that are working in startups, and so you need as a Swisscom also to be a very up-to-date employer, and that must be attractive for talents, and that also means you need to be innovative. But of course, innovation you cannot make a clip, and I think also that the change of the culture is a long way, and it never ends.
So aside from Swisscom, what other organizations and industries are represented in the Greater Zurich area?
We already talked about the precision industry or precision goods industry, and I think one of the most important industries nowadays in the Zurich area are the ICT industries. We saw that when Google arrived, it drew a lot of other ICT companies to the area. We have fiber all over the city of Zurich, and this is also bringing new business in this area to the city. Another very important industry is of course the life science and the medical technology industry. Also clean tech is becoming more and more important. Mechanical, electrical, machinery, and last but not least the area of the creative industry with the gaming sector, for example. We were just able to attract one of the gaming industry companies working together with Time Warner and Disney. And so they are originally from London, and he said Zurich is such a good place because there are so many creative people nowadays that he really likes to be here. And also together with the university and the Disney Research Lab, which is located at the university, it's founding a new hotspot and a new incubator for creative industries.
I asked Uli about innovation, but from a finance perspective.
Swisscom Infinity.
Okay.
Swisscom Infinity is a family of products for mobile, and it was the dogma from in the past that you have to build the minutes or the megabytes or the SMS. Then first bundled the SMS in the fixed price, and then you had I think 10 Swiss franc packages for data, and then you had fixed packages for minutes. And we took the risk then that we said, with these smartphones, I think what is really the differentiation between one network or the other, or the needs of the customer? Then we said it's data speed. And so we made bundles of calling minutes, of data, of SMS, and different price differentiation was only the speed of the data. We call it Infinity, this product. And of course, we launched it, I think, 2 years ago. And what happens in the beginning, of course, we had the right graders, That means all that were able to optimize their own wallet, they did it, and we had, I think, a decline of the ARPUs in the beginning, but then more and more people moved to Infinity, and for the last, I think, 3 or 4 quarters, we see an increase of our ARPUs. And so it was a risk to make this change of dogma from minutes to this speed. And I'm sure that all other network providers will follow us. And of course, then you have to take some risks. And in the finance side, I think you should be aware that new products or new verticals, they have risks, but you need a good risk management that you only take risks that you are able to cover.
Following our last episode on executive education, I headed out to Frankfurt to see Frankfurt School to talk about their executive education program. So I've come to Frankfurt School to talk about talent management and retaining talent at the top.
Well, for demographical reasons, the war for talents is in full swing. Speed is a critical success factor to attract talents, and companies accelerate their candidate selection processes. In close partnership with our clients, we support them in this situation with the opportunity, for example, to participate in our assessment centers in which we select our students. So this is a win-win situation for both sides, as the students get the opportunity right from the beginning on to transfer their knowledge they learn here on campus.
How important is it that the students really get a feel of how things happen in the real world compared to the theory within a university environment?
It's very important, of course, as they should not get a practice shock when they finish their studies after couple of years and then enter the companies. They are quite immature when they do not have the opportunity to figure out where their strengths and weaknesses are in terms of their skills and abilities to manage and to lead others, for example, or to solve challenges companies have. And we observe that companies increase their efforts in order to retain those talents who are working for the companies already. Especially they try to increase their employer attractiveness through launching development programs to enable them to take over more responsibility and to signal we invest in our high potentials and it's worth to perform and stay with us.
While at Frankfurt School, we spoke to 2 of their customers, NTT Data and Norma Group, to talk about their experiences with dealing with talent management. During your time at NTT Data, have you witnessed an evolution when it comes to the way that an organisation attracts and retains its top talent?
In our business, we have the consulting business, and consulting business is people business. So develop and educate people is one of our key investments, what we have to do. What we have to do is that we train the people to think outside the box, to generate new ideas, new innovations for, at the end of the day, for our customers and at least for our society. What we have to do with the people, they enable and train the people to get the right and the high level of learn flexibility and changeability to create paradigms, values for our customers, because one of our corporate values is clients first. So our clients are the most important thing what we have.
Why did you look at working with Frankfurt School of Finance and Management in order to satisfy your executive education needs?
NTT Data has an own academy with a lot of opportunities of learnings, but in this case we want more. We want more as a regular learning platform. We want establish an exclusive program for our top talents. And this was the reason to look for a business school with a finance background. So Frankfurt School of Finance is here in Frankfurt. We made some experience in the past with the Frankfurt School of Finance and were very satisfied, and that's what's the way we want to go to Frankfurt School of Finance and establish this new program in 2014.
A people program we develop in close partnership with Entity Data was about enhancing the leadership competencies and applying learning to a relevant project. So we start with an individual strengths and weaknesses analysis of their leadership skills in a confidential coaching session. Based on the results of this analysis, we develop, or the coaches develop with each participant an individual action plan and training plan, so that the participants understand right from the beginning where they should focus on during the training modules. We strengthen the lateral leadership skills by providing new approaches to innovation, strategy and entrepreneurship with a mix of methods of lectures and breakout sessions, where the participants work on case studies and discuss possible consequences for the corporate project they work on during the period of 1 year. Our professors and training consultants supervised them during this transfer phase. And at the end of the program, they present their personal and group results and cases for action in front of the management board.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your partnership with Frankfurt School of Finance and Management and why you chose them to provide your executive education needs?
3 years ago, perhaps a little bit late, but other companies already did it, we looked for a business school to support us for executive training. We looked for business schools, looked for their reputation, their references, and what most important is, we looked for universities which mentality is like Norma, hands-on, and sure, you look for cost. And with the Frankfurt School, we identified a partner which was very responsiveness. I can remember that we asked other business schools and we had to wait months and months, I would say, for a response, and they were very fast. They had a good program, flexible, and value to cost was okay, so that we said, okay, we start with Frankfurt School with this executive training. Shortly after we started executive training, we started a HiPot training for high potentials. And in the meantime, we are sponsoring the manufacturing award for the master thesis in manufacturing at Frankfurt School. And this year, we started to sponsor a professor position in the Frankfurt School in manufacturing, all to bring us together. And on the other hand, in the meantime, a lot of people, students from this university work in Norma, in finance area, one is the assistant of our COO, so that we have really a close relationship in the meantime. And we like that we are, it's not a complicated relationship, we are uncomplicated, and that's what we like. I believe that's what the Frankfurt School like at Norma, and I'm quite, I believe that this will be a good way we will go together in future to make sure that more manufacturing knowledge comes to Frankfurt School.
Well, for the HR department of Norma Group, it was quite important to promote global cross-border integration and to develop culture in terms of entrepreneurship and risk-taking. So we support an ongoing activation and development of self-reflection and decision-making skills in 3 training modules and 2 transfer phases. Based off the results of a competency-based diagnostic tool we use as starting point for all participants, we work out concrete training targets for the program. They work on their own case examples and learn to deal with communication issues and conflicts by interacting as a group during a business simulation. Through this simulation, the participants explore and reflect on the effects of global competition in different market situations in the context of real-world business development. They slip into the role of global executives and they experience how they act under stress and what influences their decisions.
I was curious about how much cost cutting there had been when it comes to education, so I spoke to Norma Group about this.
In the past, I did a lot of cost cutting. When you have the opportunity or only the chance to terminate people or to cut cost, you are cutting cost and training cost. It's a point where you can cut without immediate effect. You see it years later. Normally it's a little bit different. I work for automotive companies where the margin is around 1 to 3%. So that these companies fight for their survival and then you do everything in cutting costs. Normally we have a margin above 10%. Coming from this, cutting of training is not an issue. So that we never did it, with one exception. Remember, I believe it was 2008, 2009, where we had this crash. And 2008, 2009, I did everything to save and reduce costs. But in this case, we reduced training, our own training, but used the training offered by, for example, in Germany, from the unemployment office during the short time, so that we had not to pay for it. It was sponsored by the government, so that people got training, but not paid by us. Some companies still today are cutting costs because they fight for their survival, and therefore they have no other option than to go this way. And I understand this. At Norma, due to really the good business, this is not an issue, so that I'm happy. I have to say that I don't come in a situation than 10 years ago, for example.
On the next Finance Director, we speak with Lloyds Banking Group about some of the solutions to being a large multinational organisation, as well as heading back to France, this time to speak to ADP